Time for sound design. In today's video, I'm going to sample this keyboard, the Casio MT-140 from the late 80s, and create a sampled instrument in Simpler with one of the sounds. On a different note, if you have been watching my videos, you know that I have created many sampled instruments in Simpler and sometimes Sampler as well. So now I put all those sampled instruments together in a sample library and I share them on Gumroad. So if you go to the link below and in the description box, you can pick up this sample library with 50 sampled instruments for free. Most instruments work in Ableton Live Intro. For some of them where I use Sampler, you need the Live suite. So go over to Gumroad, download the sample library and make music. So let's go to Ableton and see what I have recorded already. So I recorded a bunch of different sounds, like the synth reed, for instance. The strings, jazz guitar, vibraphone, bells, and piano. And I'm thinking I'm gonna start with the jazz guitar. So I recorded a quite high C, not the highest C, but one octave below that. So yeah, let's put it into Simpler and see if I can create something from it. So in Simpler, let's adjust the start and end points of this jazz guitar sample. So this is the original pitch. Let's call it Casio jazz guitar sample high C. Let's adjust the release time. And let's put loop on and see if I can find a good loop. Adjust the start point and the fade. So this click is the attack time. I mean, you can hear there's a little bit of volume up and down when it loops, but it's not so bad. Especially when you play it lower, on a lower octave than what I sampled this note on, it sounds better. Put a low octave, for low frequency, a low cut here, because there's a little bit of rumble in the sample. So playing chords. Sounds pretty good. Okay, let's try some effects now. I'm thinking something like a chorus could be nice to create more stereo spread because it's a mono sample. And it is already a lo-fi sound, but maybe if we can bring in some noise with the erosion device in Ableton and then make that a macro parameter so we can adjust the amount of it depending on what kind of sound we want. Group all these devices together into an instrument rack, and then I can assign a macro parameter, and then I put the amount of the erosion as a parameter. Erosion amount, and then the maximum I put it at 50. That's more than enough. you can also decide to have it clean. And the other thing I'm going to add is a reverb after the chorus. We put it at 2400, high quality. And then also assign the dry wet as a macro parameter. Rename this to reverb dry wet. So without the reverb, without the erosion, and with reverb. If you play it really low on the keyboard, it's also nice as a bass tone. Just underneath, like a, you can see that in like a movie scene, like where you just have this low drone that just continues to set a mood. Okay, let's put some notes into this MIDI clip. Just to give an idea of what we can make with this kind of sound. So yeah, I'm gonna save this now as Casio MT-140 Jazz Guitar Cinematic Pad. So I can use this later on in my tracks when I wanted. Alright, so that's it for this sound design video. I started with sampling this Casio MT-140 keyboard. It's from the late 80s. It's a very basic keyboard. You have a bunch of sounds, but you can't actually change any of the parameters of these sounds. You can combine them. I used the jazz guitar sound, which sounded like this. So it's very basic. It's a high C on the keyboard. Then I put it into simpler and I created this with it. It's very calm and cinematic. It's kind of lo-fi. But what I did to make it even more lo-fi, I assigned the erosion amount as a macro parameter. So you can... But also a reverb, so you can even make it more ethereal. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and see you in the next one.